Hello, YouTube. Welcome back for another installment in relation to Jeremy's Detective Comics number 33. So what we're going to do, as promised in my last upload, we're going to do a little leaf casting. And I just want to show you the steps because a lot of times I jump right into the leaf casting without showing a few of the steps that must be taken prior to doing the leaf casting. So right here you have my leaf casting table, and I have an upload right here showing how you can build this for under $100 if you're interested in leaf casting. In addition, there are a lot of other things that I use, such as various pieces of plastic. These are thin film plastics that I get at Blick Art Supply. It comes in a big sheet, and I just upstairs clean them and I wipe them down because pulp does adhere to them, and you want to try to make them as clean as possible. Right here I'm scraping off a little paper pulp from various jobs, and this right here is a big film that I'm going to use, and I cut out the piece so it fits on the right side of the first wrap of the Detective Comics 33, and I'll show you shortly what I am talking about. Also, what we have is my craft foam. I just washed this upstairs, and this craft foam is used as a perimeter, if you're watching for the first time, to keep the suction in and make the suction stronger when I perform the leaf casting, and you'll see very shortly. What else do we have? We have my squeeze bottle. This is what I use for the paper pulp to apply it. And then here we go is the paper pulp in my blender. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give it a little mixing right now, and we're gonna put the paper pulp in the squeeze bottle so we're ready to get going. So cover your ears. Okay, that's mixed enough. And I make big batches of pulp. And I say this in my uploads, as you know if you watch, and I store the pulp in my refrigerator when not in use. So what we're going to do is we're going to pour some of the pulp into here, trying to keep it as neat as possible. We'll always have a little spillage, but that's okay. We'll put this to the side, cover it up, and we're going to get ready to roll soon. And I just want to discuss about this first wrap because it is a difficult wrap. It's not an easy wrap because it has a lot of rips in it, and it's a wrap that formerly, I believe, had a lot of glue. It did have glue on it, tear seal. So once a wrap is in a situation where there's a lot of cuts and there's a lot of tears and pieces missing in the spine, it tends to move around when you wet the wrap. So what does that mean, Jerry? What it means is I kept the wrap in my press and I wet the wrap prior to leaf casting it. And I pressed the wrap because the main goal for me is to make sure that the wrap is definitely flat. You need to make sure that the wrap is flat. And if it's not flat when you leaf cast, you're gonna run into problems, very serious problems, because the leaf casting will not adhere flat and you'll get a bad job. And guys, this is why, in my opinion, leaf casting is an art form. It is not something that the average person can do if they do not have some skills in art or they're artistic, because it's not just throwing pulp down. It takes a lot of skill, in my opinion, to do this correctly. We also have another issue that we're dealing with. We have tear seals that I performed on this first wrap. And the tear seals performed, I want to make sure that they stay. So in order for them to stay, I'll show you what I'm planning to do. And you have to be very careful in lifting up the Hollytex to make sure that your tear seals remain and you don't lift them up by pulling up the Hollytex, because it will happen. It will happen. So there's a tear seal right here, and we want to try to keep them in shape, and the best way to do that is to remove the Hollytex just like I did, by rolling it nice and slow. Slow and steady does it. If you can't pull it off fast, because if you pull it off fast, you're gonna run risk that you may, in fact, pull the repairs off that you applied. You also can see right now, or you'll see in a second, that the wrap is pretty smooth. It's smooth, and I'm adjusting it on the side here so I can get it on hopefully as smooth as possible. Oop, sorry camera, I hit it. And I'm just gonna roll it on just like this, boop. And the goal is, and see those sound effects? If you don't do the sound effects, the booping, you're not gonna get it right. Sound effects, and let's adjust the camera. Sound effects are very important, because without the proper sound effects, you are wasting your time. So what I want to do is I want to put this right in the middle, just like that, okay? And let's make sure it's nice and flat, because if it's not flat, you're not gonna get the results that you want. So let's adjust it. Let's make sure we have it flat. So I'm a little concerned right here, guys. I am concerned right there with my Tengojo repair that I did. And what I want to make sure is that the repair stays with the leaf casting. So right here, and let me shut off the burner for a second. Right here I have a piece of Hollytex, and I am going to cut a little piece of Hollytex right now, and I am going to cover that tear seal, because what we're going to do is we are going to place a piece of film on it, and I don't want to take the film up and then all of a sudden I don't have the repair there. And I know a lot of people in the past have asked me about this. What do you do when you have a repair? Doesn't the leaf casting rip it off? And this is a method that you can use to prevent that from happening. So right here, I will put a piece of Hollytex over the repair. We also have a repair here that I'm gonna put another piece of Hollytex on as well, but we're gonna remove that, and I'll tell you why. Because in that repair, in that rip, there are some voids that I'm going to have to fill, and we'll remove that when we get to that point. There's also a rip here, so we're gonna have to deal with that as well. And I'm gonna put another piece of Hollytex covering that rip as well, just like that. This piece is ripped as well. I may wanna put a piece there as well to cover it, just like this, and then we're gonna cover that with pulp. So I'm pretty satisfied, guys, and I think I'm ready to roll. So let me stop the camera for a second and let me adjust a few things, and we're gonna get rolling with the leaf casting. Okay, so I'll be right back.